Hi everyone, welcome back. Thank you so much for joining me today. So I'm keeping it simple. I'm doing a puddle pour and I'm using a gold swipe activator. I'm going to explain the process as we go from start to finish. So I really hope you enjoy this tutorial, and don't forget, expand the box below. It lists lots of information in there, including my ratios, all my paints that I use, and lots more information. So as always, let's see what we can create. Okay, so here's the colour palette that I'm using. As you can see, I'm using 3 different brands. I'm using Pebeo, Arteza and Amsterdam. I have listed all these colours in the description box below, so check them out if you want all the names. And I'm mixing my paints with pouring medium and water. My ratio for today is 1 part paint, 1 part water, 3 parts pouring medium. So let me show you my setup. So here we go, there's my canvas. I've got my cell activator, it's golden cell activator. And today my cell activator is made up of Pebeo's iridescent precious gold and Australian Floetrol. My ratios for this cell activator is 1 part paint, 4 parts Australian Floetrol. So I'm just going to put my gloves on and then we're going to start with the process. I'm using up all my paints today. I don't like to waste a drop. So that's why I'm doing this creation. So my gloves are on and let's start painting. So my canvas area is dry and I'm literally just going to take one colour at a time and pour the paints from the cup onto the canvas. So my paints are now all on the canvas and now it's time to add that cell activator. So I'm going to use my palette knife for this and I'm literally going to dip my palette knife into the cell activator just to cover the underneath of that palette knife. And then I'm going to take the palette knife, place it on top of the paint that's already on the canvas and then just slowly drag that palette knife across the surface area where that paint sits. And I'm going to do that several times. I'm literally just going to clean off my palette knife. I don't want to contaminate my cell activator that's already in the cup. And then I'm just going to continue swiping. And the idea is to create some gorgeous cells and lacing. And that's going to be achieved by using this combination. So again, just dipping the palette knife into the cell activator, placing the palette knife on top of the paint, and then just slowly swiping through. Okay, so I think that's enough swiping for now. Let me take you in for a closer look so you can see that paint reaction. You can see some of those gorgeous cells already starting to appear. But it's now about spreading that paint out across the full surface area and down the sides. So I'm literally going to pick up my canvas and I'm going to tilt the canvas from side to side, making sure that paint travels across that surface area. And as soon as I reach the side and the corners, I'm going to push that paint over the edges. And then once that's covered, I will bring that paint back on itself to allow me to use that volume of paint elsewhere on the canvas to fully cover it. Okay, I'm happy with the composition, so I'm going to place it down on my table and take you in for a closer look at this wet version. And you can see those blues and that gold and those kind of gorgeous areas where those cells have popped up purely because of that cell activator that we've used. But what I can't wait to do is let's see how this dries, because I'm sure that gold's going to really shine through. I'm going to place this to one side. It will take a couple of days to dry to touch and a good few weeks to fully cure. I never seal my paintings until they're fully dried and cured. So I give each one about 3 weeks and then I use a gloss spray varnish to seal each painting. So that's the wet version. Let me take you in now for a look at the dry version. It's not changed much, it's not yet varnished, but I just love it, and I love that technique by just using that gold cell activator, because you can see how it kind of shimmers in the light. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope you've had fun. I know I have. I'm still using smaller canvases, so if there's a particular technique you'd like me to try, let me know. Take care everyone, have a great week ahead, and I'll see you soon. Bye.